Hello and welcome to Echoes of Doubt. Today's episode is The Phantom of the Skies, Airships of 1897. The setting is the American Midwest and the Great Plains from 1896 to 1897. Let's begin. Long before flying saucers, stealth aircraft, and satellite surveillance, something strange passed over the American skies. The year is 1896, going into 1897. Hundreds of people across the United States reported seeing massive airships. They were glowing, humming, and moving against the wind. They claimed these crafts had wings, propellers, some even had glass cabins. Some said they were human-like pilots waving at them. That's insane. Others reported seeing these airships drop from the sky, and a few said the airships even landed. So what was it? Was it built by a secret inventor? Was it perhaps a mass delusion event? Or something else entirely? This is Echoes of Doubt, and this is the mystery of the airship sightings, 1896 to 1897. Segment 1. A Sky of Surprises. The story begins in California in the fall of 1896. On November 17th, residents of Sacramento reported seeing a bright light in the sky attached to a cigar-shaped aerial craft. These witnesses described the object as metallic, with wings or fins moving near silently, some with a low mechanical hum against the wind. Within weeks, similar reports emerged from all across California. By April of 1897, the phenomenon had moved to the east. Sightings spread through the Midwest, including Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and even Texas. Some reports came from as far north as Chicago and as far south as Louisiana. These weren't vague lights. Many accounts described highly structured crafts, some being 100 to 300 feet long, with headlights, rudders, and sometimes occupants. Now, these pilots in dark suits were speaking English, dropping anchor lines, and even talking to the people on the ground. So, who were they? And were they benevolent or malevolent? Segment 2. The Aurora, Texas Incident. One of the most famous reports came from Aurora, Texas on April 17th, 1897. According to an article in the Dallas Morning News, an airship crashed into a windmill on the property of local Judge Proctor. The story claimed the pilot's body, obviously not of this world, was recovered and buried in the town cemetery in an unmarked grave. People drinking from the well on the property began to get mysterious and serious illnesses that they believe came from parts of the ship that ended up in the well. After many sicknesses, they cemented that well. Over the years, this tale took on legendary status. UFO researchers flocked to the Aurora Cemetery, hoping to see this creature. In the 1970s, some even claimed to have found unmarked graves or anomalous metal fragments from the crash. To date, no body has ever been recovered. However, skeptics, including local historians, believe the story may have been a hoax written to boost the struggling town's fortunes. The reporter who broke the story, S.E. Hayden, was known for telling tall tales, and no physical evidence has ever been conclusively verified. But still, the Aurora case became an early cornerstone of American UFO lore, and this was decades before the infamous crash at Roswell, New Mexico. But that's a story for another episode. Now, this is the actual news report of the incident, and I'm going to read this directly from the newspaper. A windmill demolishes it. Aurora, Weiss County, Texas, April 17th. To the news. About 6 o'clock this morning, the early risers of Aurora were astonished at the sudden appearance of the airship which has been sailing through the country. It was traveling due north and much nearer to Earth than ever before. Evidently, some of the machinery was out of order, for it was making a speed of only 10 or 12 miles an hour and gradually settling toward the Earth. It sailed directly over the public square, and when it reached the north part of town, collided with the tower of Judge Proctor's windmill, and went into pieces with a terrific explosion, scattering debris over several acres of ground, wrecking the windmill and water tank, and destroying the judge's flower garden. The pilot of the ship is supposed to have been the only one on board, and while his remains are badly disfigured, enough of the original body has been picked up to show that he is not an inhabitant of this world. Mr. T.J. Weems, the United States Signal Authority officer at this place, and he is also an authority on astronomy, gives it as his opinion that he was a native of the planet Mars. Papers found on his person, evidently the record of his travels, are written in some unknown hieroglyphics not able to be deciphered. The ship was too badly wrecked to form any conclusion as to its construction or motive power. It was built of an unknown metal, resembling somewhat a mixture of aluminum and silver, and it must have weighed several tons. The town is full of people today who are viewing the wreck and gathering specimens of the strange metal from debris. The pilot's funeral will take place at noon tomorrow. S.E. Hayden. Segment 3. Theories Then and Now. In 1897, Americans were no strangers to rapid technological change. We had electricity, telegraphy, and internal combustion engines were revolutionizing everyday life. The idea of flight, while still fiction at this time, was beginning to feel possible. So what did people believe was in the sky? Perhaps it was secret inventors. Newspapers speculated that a reclusive inventor named Thomas Edison had created the ship in secret. Letters from supposed inventors appeared in the papers, claiming they were testing flying machines. But no inventor ever came forward, and none of the crafts were ever verified. Next, hoaxes and hysteria. Some sightings were clearly faked. Newspapers, facing fierce competition, often ran sensational stories without any verification. At least one editor even admitting to fabricating an airship report just to boost his sales. I mean, wow, just wow. Yet still, hundreds of reports came from people of every field, everywhere from farmers, judges, policemen, even reverends, people who are not the usual hoaxers. Some sightings were shared by entire towns and large groups of people. Were they all swept up in a mass hysteria, or were they seeing something real? That question I leave for you to decide. 3. Extraterrestrials, looking through a modern lens. Today, some see the airship wave as a proto-UFO phenomenon, a pre-modern mass contact event, interpreted through 19th century eyes. UFO researcher Jerome Clark called it a technological folklore event, a case where people saw something they just couldn't understand, so naturally it fit into their cultural framework. Instead of flying saucers and little gray men running around probing people, they saw wondrous Victorian era ships and gentlemen humanoid pilots. Segment 4: The Cultural Context. The airship sightings of 1897 happened at a crossroads period in American life. Industrialization was booming. Newspapers were expanding and competing with sensational stories. The frontier had officially closed in 1890, yet these mysteries remained. People were curious but anxious. Airships represented both hope and fear, a leap into the future, or an omen of danger. They appeared in a time when no one had ever even seen an airplane. At this time, the sky was reserved only for those animals with wings. Yet now the idea of humans being able to take flight had entered the public consciousness. Is it possible? Some suggest that it is. Perhaps we are at a pivotal point of history with invention and discovery. It's worth noting the famous Wright brothers would not fly a Kitty Hawk until 1903, and that's 6 years after these sightings began. Segment 5: My Delusional and Final Thoughts. The mystery of the 1897 wave of airships endures because, it doesn't really fit easily into any category or one box. There was no crash ship recovered, no recovered debris, no official investigation was even performed into the events, even basic evidence, not even a photograph. Just hundreds of normal people being eyewitnesses, spread across America, seeing something in the sky, and then just as quickly as it arrived, it vanished. Now, whether it was a case of media-fueled hysteria, secret technology, or something even stranger, one thing is clear. Even in the 19th century, we were looking up to the sky and asking questions that couldn't really be answered. So in closing, there we have it. Thank you all for joining me on my new series, Echoes of Doubt. If you enjoyed this journey through America's skybound mystery, consider following me on Delusional Podcast at Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. Leave me a review, ask me a question, or just tell me your story and your experiences with strange happenings in the sky. Want to be on the show or just to tell your story? Email me at delusionalpodcast@myyahoo.com. Until then, keep your eyes on the skies and your thoughts in question.